form cement stair-step cascades called fish ladders. In the tributary streams, waterfalls and rapids are steep and swift enough to eliminate all but the strongest. Otters, eagles, and bears stalk the salmon in shallow riffles. Spawning grounds, the fish battle each other, female against females, for places to nest, males against males for available females.
When comes the stowing down, my boys, 'twill take both night and day, and you'll all have 50 cents apiece on the 190.
Pacific salmon encounter increasingly human-caused hazards in their migration to and from spawning grounds. All salmonids require pure, well-oxygenated cold water and are one of the first species to suffer when water quality is degraded. Many salmon stocks are seriously threatened by what are called the 4 H's: habitat destruction, hydroelectric dams on migratory rivers, over-harvest of rare stocks, and competition with hatchery fish. Some stocks are so severely reduced that they have been listed as endangered or threatened species under the Endangered Species Act. Endangered means they are likely to become threatened means they are likely to become endangered in the near future.
Hangman tie a slip knot? Yes, I've seen it many a time, and he whines and he whines. After 13 times, he's got a slip knot. Tell me, will that slip knot slip? No, it will not.
A 1991 report by the American Fisheries Society indicated that 214 of about 4 stock of salmon, steelhead, and sea-run cutthroat trout in the Northwest and California are at risk of extinction. The report also indicated that 106 are already extinct.
Did you ever lose a brother on that slip knot? Yes, my brother was a slave. He tried to escape, and they drug him to his grave with a slip knot.
In 1992, the Snake River stock of sockeye salmon was listed as endangered whenever found. The spring, summer, and fall runs of Chinook, originating in Idaho's Snake River, were listed as threatened in 1992. Others are being considered for listing, including the Columbia River Chinook and the Oregon Coast coho salmon.
Tell me, who makes the laws for that slip knot? Who makes the laws for that slip knot? Who says who is going to the calaboose? Get the
largest of the Pacific salmon, Chinook, averages about 24 pounds when they return to their native river to spawn, most after 2 or 3 years at sea. The Chinook is the least abundant of the Pacific salmon. Coho salmon, fourth in the Pacific fishery abundance, is the #1 sport fish. It spends only 1 winter at sea, returning the next fall to spawn. It averages about 10 pounds when full grown.
Whistling in the wind because they made their laws with a slip knot, and because they tied their laws with a slip knot.
Sockeye salmon make up about 25% of the West Coast catch. The chum salmon make up about 13%. Both follow similar migration paths in the Pacific and reach a common weight of about 12 pounds before returning to their native river to spawn.
The Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. In the shadow of the steeple.
Pink salmon, the smallest of the Pacific salmon, average only 3 to 5 pounds. However, they make up more than half the total West Coast commercial catch. Pink salmon seldom travel more than 150 miles from the mouth of their native river.
Is this land made for you and me? As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw a
Portland, Oregon. Usually by now, the Columbia River spring Chinook salmon are heading upstream over fish ladders in the tens of thousands to spawn. Not this year. Fish biologists had predicted a spring run of about 229,000 Chinooks at the Bonneville Dam, about 140 miles from the Pacific Ocean. As of Tuesday, near the customary midpoint of the spring run, only about 200 had been counted there. It's never before seen scarcity, said Charles Hudson of the Columbia River Intertribal Fish Commission. It's so bad that the Indian tribes on the river had to get salmon somewhere else for their ceremonial celebration marking the return of the fish. The Chinooks enter the Columbia River from the Pacific at this time of year to return to the streams where they were hatched 2 or 3 years before. There, they spawn and die. Scientists say they don't have an explanation for the scarcity. Nobody knows why, said Brian Gorman of the Pacific Marine Fisheries Service in Seattle. It's a mystery. Most of this year's spring run went to sea in 2002 or 2003. There were no conditions in those years that would readily explain the dearth of fish this spring. Some fish managers wonder whether low water levels, as a result of a dry winter, combined with murky water caused by recent rains, are keeping Chinook from swimming up the Columbia.